The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Nottingham food bank in Beckton, who supplies 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Nottingham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once more to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Please also don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit that bell icon for alerts of new content. Don't forget to click all. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support. My usual little bit of housekeeping to get out of the way. If adult language does offend anybody, go and put some shelves up, go and do some vacuuming. Don't be watching this. But before you clear off, make sure you like the stream anyway and subscribe to the channel. And then you can go. We are here to discuss match day 12 of 38 in the Premier League. Our very own West Ham United take on the Tricky Trees, 2-time European champions, Nottingham Forest. Joining me to discuss all these matters is Budgie of the YouTube channel known as Green Street Elites. Budgie, before we sort of get into the bits and pieces about the match, please feel free to give your YouTube channel a bit of a push.
Thank you very much, Rob. Green Street Elites. We don't do very much pre-game and post-game stuff on there. It's mainly just general chat about how the team are getting on and stuff like that. And also stuff dedicated to the old school football, you know, pre-London Stadium era. So hence the name Green Street Elites. I do also want to mention that in the intro to this, you saw a little video put together by Rob about supporting Iron Supporting Food Banks. Well, I'd like to tell you that I'm proud to announce that John Ratomski, the guy that we all know and love, has just won Community Hero of the Year by the East London Community Heroes Awards 2023. He got it
last night, didn't he?
He got it last night. And we're very proud of him. And let's keep supporting him, keep helping him do what he does.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you, guys.
And as it says in the video, it's in the link under the description section on YouTube. So you've got no excuse, guys. You can't tell me you don't know where it is. I'll give you a big hint. Right. So before we get into matters about the match itself, just sort of like bring your attention to the ticker. On the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, it's got the officials. Michael Salisbury, just to do a little bit of ref analysis, Michael Salisbury has refereed thus far in the Premier League this season 4 matches. He has issued 0 red cards. Hopefully it stays that way. And he's issued 10 yellows. So he's averaging around about 2.5 yellow cards per match so far. However, I did a little bit of digging and it turns out that Michael Salisbury was, he made a little bit of a boob not so long ago. I've got this piece dated from TNT Sports on the 11th of April, Budge. He was the referee that was the VAR official when Stuart Atwell missed a trip on Karu Mitoma in the box with the score locked at 1-1 in Brighton's defeat to Tottenham last season. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the guy with the whistle referee this time.
Right. Okay. So, that could play in our favour, but then again, it could also be, very tricky water for us.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Right. Okay. I'm going to
Yeah.
add this to the screen now. And this will wind on and just give you little bits of information. And as I say, guys, also keep an eye on the ticker at the bottom. It will come up with random facts about the two teams that are taking to the field tomorrow at London Stadium. So keep your eyes out for that. Okay, so let's get stuck into it then, Budge.
Yep.
Your thoughts on Nottingham Forest so far this season in the Premier League? Have you been impressed? What are your thoughts?
I have been more impressed with them this season than I was last season, I have to be honest.
Okay.
Although they came out all guns blazing, beat us on the first day of the season last season at the City Ground, obviously. But this season, they've blown a little bit hot and cold. They've beaten teams, or they've performed against the teams that you would expect them to, the teams in and around the lower half of the table. They've not done too badly. Clearly, they haven't done great against some of the top teams. I believe they had a decent result against Manchester City, though, didn't they?
I'll be honest with you, mate. I've not kept too much of an eye on their results myself. The one thing I do know is they obviously played Villa last week and they turned them over.
They turned them
was
over,
just
yeah.
typical, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, considering how they did us, the week or 2 weeks beforehand, that was completely typical, really, to be honest, Rob. But I think, in general, I think Nottingham Forest are starting to now build on what they had when they first came into the Premier League last season. They've made a few decent acquisitions in Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's a very good player. I like him. I liked him at Chelsea, I've got to be honest. And, of course, there are other top players in the squad, and none less so than Morgan Gibbs-White, in my opinion. He's the man we need to watch, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was, funnily enough, that was going to be the very next question. So, Morgan Gibbs-White, so you've already named him as the opposition's key player. Tell me, in your opinion, some of the attributes that you think that he's going to have on display, assuming he's picked by Steve Cooper, but I think it's fairly likely he will be.
Yeah.
What are the sort of like the strengths and weaknesses, do you believe, of Morgan Gibbs-White?
Well, I'll start with his weaknesses because that's a much shorter list, in my opinion. He's still a little bit immature. Okay, he hasn't got the full maturity that one would expect from a seasoned Premier League player. And I mean, he hasn't done like 5-8 years in the Premier League, but he's had a few appearances, a number of appearances, and he's done really well in the appearances that he's had. Obviously, his move to Nottingham Forest was a massive move for him because it's given him the opportunity for more first-team football than he had the opportunity for before. And I think his lack of maturity, and I say that lightly because he is a very mature young man, but his lack of years, if you like, his lack of years of experience will probably be his letdown, if anything. I don't think his ability on the ball or off the ball is going to hinder him in any way, shape or form. I think he's the man that's going to be creating more chances than anyone else in a red shirt or yellow shirt or whatever colour they wear. I think that he's got a good eye for goal, which is something we really do need to watch because our defenders are notoriously slow at closing down when players are in key positions. So I think, on the basis of that, I think we have to be very careful about who we have on our back four. Because he's going to be just that little bit sharper than we expect, I think.
Okay. So flipping that question on its head, as I
Yeah.
usually do when I do these previews, which is the West Ham player that was going to be the key to us getting a positive result tomorrow, in your opinion?
There's only one name that comes to mind. Now, everybody out there is going to be typing in Lucas Paqueta or Jared Bowen, but for me, it's Emerson Palmieri. I think, okay, I speak a lot about Emerson. There you go on the overview there. You've already got it prepped. So you're obviously thinking along the same lines I am, Rob.
Yep.
For me, Emerson, yes, I talk about him a lot because he has come on in leaps and bounds since he started wearing claret and blue for me. But he's going to be possibly marking Gibbs White.
Yep.
And I mean, the likelihood of that is very high. And so with the intelligence that Emerson's got and the intelligence that Gibbs White's got, it's going to be a key battle right there, right down that left side of ours, right side of Forest. And that's probably going to drift in centrally as well. So I'm really hoping that we have a player on the left centre-back role that's capable and willing and intelligent enough to cover Emerson when he's tracking Gibbs White. Because I think he's the best player to track Gibbs White. I think if you were going to man mark anybody, it would be him. And if you were going to use any of our players to do that, it would be Emerson because of his mobility. He's tactically very good with the ball. I don't know what I haven't actually read what his defending tackle rate was, but whatever it is, it's got to be reasonably high because you don't see very many mistakes from Emerson. So for me, that's going to be the key battle on the field tomorrow.
I think he's been sensational so far. And I've said it, and I'll hold my hands up. I got it wrong. We signed the guy, and my first thought was, and I articulated that thought on more than one occasion, and I said that he's just a slightly less shit version of Arthur Masuaku. Well, hands up, proved me wrong. He proved me massively, massively wrong, and he is a contender for Hammer of the Year. Now, he probably won't win it because usually in any of these Player of the Year awards, whether it's West Ham, whether it's the Ballon d'Or, whatever, usually tends to go to a more offensive player. So I think if he wins it, it certainly wouldn't be undeserved in my view, but I think he'd have to go some in order for him to overhaul the Paquetars, the James Ward-Prowses and the Jared Bowens of this world, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean to say that he's not capable of doing it. And again, I've already got one thing wrong about him. I said that he was a slightly less shit version of Arthur Masuaku. He proved me wrong there. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong in the statement I've just made about the Player of the Hammer of the Year award.
Well, I sincerely hope so, Rob, because he's fast becoming one of my favourite West Ham players. And I mean, really fast becoming. I've always blown the trumpet for him. I've always waved his flag from the moment we signed him because obviously both of my brothers, my sister, my son, they're all Chelsea fans. I'm the only West Ham fan left in the family. And so they've all watched him when he played for Chelsea. And, I've got to be honest, my brother's the one I would listen to the most, my brother Kevin, or Treacle, as most people know him as.
Yeah.
I listen to him the most because he's as passionate about Chelsea as I am West Ham. And he's a lot more knowledgeable about Chelsea than anybody else I know. And he said to me that, Emerson was like a mid-table type Premiership player rather than top table, top four player. He was actually right about that, but I still feel that is undervaluing what he does. Look at that, for example. It was on the previous one on the team play one.
Hang on.
You know,
I'll go back.
Oh, okay.
Which one was you after? That one.
That one there, yeah. So
Yep.
big chances created, 5 for a defender.
For a
5. You know, that's not bad at all. And 2 assists as well.
And look at the pass completion stats.
84 plus percentage. I mean, passes forward 749 to Gibbs White 631 in more minutes played.
Yeah, and he's had 3,508 touches, so he's involved in the game quite extensively.
A lot, yes. And you know, he's developed this beautiful dynamic with Lucas Paquetá, and between them, we're finding little 1-2s and triangles going on, and it's really, really pretty football to watch. Trouble is, it's too far back towards our defensive areas that we're finding Emerson getting involved in this little intricate little triangular stuff with him and Alvarez and stuff. If this was happening further up the field, you know, how many more chances, you know, created would Emerson have been involved in? You know,
well, I wonder, Budge, and here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If we was to play with wing back, so Emerson being a wing back as opposed to a conventional fullback, how much more beneficial do you think he would be to the team?
I think we'd get 100% better stats out of him. I really do.
And it's already pretty good.
So, you know, I mean, for me, like I said, he's fast becoming one of my favourite players. Because there aren't that many teams that are going to be looking at him, and he is good player. He's a very good player. You know, all of the attention is on players like, you know, Jared Bowen, Lucas Paquetá, you know, even Edson Alvarez is going to catch the eye, you know, more so than Emerson will, purely and simply because I wouldn't like to put a percentage on it, but it's going to be over 65% of people out there. And I'm not just talking about West Ham fans, I'm talking about any football fan. When Emerson came to West Ham from Chelsea, a good percentage of people would have said, oh, there's another Chelsea reject they've gone and bought.
Yeah.
How wrong have those people been? You know, I mean, this guy has proven to be an integral part of our defence and an integral part of building attacks. You know, so, and Morgan Gibbs-White has done exactly the same thing at Nottingham Forest, although he plays further up the field. So, this is going to be one heck of a battle tomorrow. It's going to, and whoever wins that battle tomorrow will, you know, ultimately be man of the match, I think.
We've just got that little slide there just to bring it to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. That is the last time we faced each other in competition, in any competition, but specifically the Premier League. It was the game that I think started the recovery in the Premier League, I believe. Yeah. 2 goals from Danny Ings. I mean, he's coming for a lot of criticism and rightly so, in my opinion. But then again, part of it I also think is on David Moyes, because I just think he's fundamentally misaligned to the players around him, to the style of football that David Moyes wants to implement. So it's not entirely on Danny Ings, I have to say. But those 2 goals, if that was the catalyst for us moving up the table and getting away from relegation, and maybe indirectly also it had a carryover into the Conference League and maybe, you know, got us the trophy.
Weren't that his first 2 goals for us?
I believe it was. I think he's only scored 3. I think he scored another one in the Conference League, didn't he? I think that's it as far as sort of like first team competition is concerned. Friendlies, you know, pre-season friendlies don't count as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I think he, you know, what did we pay for him? 12 million quid?
Yeah, 12-ish.
You know, if we'd have got relegated, that would have cost us 150, 180 million quid. Those 2 goals, well, okay. We'll take that. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And, you know, I think also, you know, the other thing with Danny Ings is that the delivery to him, like you said, it's the players around him, but the delivery to him isn't as assured for his style of play. Whereas, as you mentioned earlier, You know, you stick Emerson out on as a left wing back and Soufal out on as a right wing back. The delivery from them two guys will get Danny Ings firing, in my opinion. You know, you've got to have Lucas Paqueta backing him up, and you know, and so on and so forth. But you know, I think it's unfortunate for Danny Ings the way things have gone for him. You know, he came in as a panic buy, I think. Yeah. Bless him.
There's the form guide of the two teams, Budge.
Yep.
I mean, I said it before we went live. We both won only the one game in our last 5. They've managed to draw 3 and lose 1. We've managed to draw 1 and lose 3. Do you sort of like read too much into the respective forms before we take to the pitch tomorrow? Or do you think that really it's irrelevant?
I think that you've got to also look at the teams that they've played against and that we've played against, and you know, the value of the result, as it were. So they've played Aston Villa and won. We played Aston Villa and lost convincingly.
Yes.
They played Liverpool. All right, okay. We played Newcastle. There's the kind of even competition in that kind of fixture. We drew against Newcastle and they lost against Liverpool. So, you know, okay, so this is evening out just a little bit. We've both played Brentford. They managed to get a draw. We lost. They're slight. So looking at this, if you do it by value of each game like that, I think Nottingham Forest should slightly be favourites to win it if this was in a neutral stadium.
Yeah. But
we've got home advantage. We've got 60,000 screaming idiots in the stadium.
I'm one of them.
I'm usually one of them, but I won't be there Sunday, unfortunately. You know, so we're going to have the home advantage. Plus, I think also we've got the head-to-head advantage as well. You know, we've had better results against them in general over the, 5 games we've had with them?
This one here.
Oh, no, 10 games. 10 games we've played them. We've won 5, they've won 2, we've drawn 3. So, you know, we've got the advantage in the head-to-head as well. So, you know, we should be able to draw a result out of this. Drag a result, I should say, not draw. I think we should be able to drag a result out of it. Worst way, grab a point. But I think if we grabbed a point, that would be a very disappointing performance for us.
I agree. I totally agree. Right, let's get Budgie into the hot seat. So, and you guys in the live chat, I really want to get your take on this. So you guys in the live chat, I want you to give me a formation and I want you to give me the personnel that if you were picking the team, not what you think David Moyes will pick, what you would pick if you was in the hot seat. And Budgie is going to do the same. I'm going to do the same, but I'm then going to say what I think David Moyes will actually pick after that. So Budgie, you are the manager of West Ham United going into this fixture tomorrow against Nottingham Forest. They're 1 point behind us in the Premier League. It's pressure's on. What would be your starting 11 formation? Give me a bit of detail, please.
Okay, right. Well, we're going to start off in between sticks. And I would stick with Alphonse Areola because I think he is an exceptional goalkeeper, an exceptional shot stopper, but he's also quick with the delivery and, you know, his distribution. So I think that's going to play an advantage for us. So I would go with Areola in goal.
Okay.
I would then play with 3 at the back. I'd go with the wing backs. I like the wing backs system.
So do I.
So I'll start out on the right and I'll work my way across to the left. So out on the right, I would have Vladimir Soufal. For me, the best right foot,
wing back or centre back.
Right wing back.
Got it.
Right wing back. So let's call it a 5-man back five. So I'd go for Vladimir Coufal as the wing back because, let's be honest, his tracking back isn't as good as others is, but once he gets forward, his delivery is incredible. I really, really think that as a wing back, he would be a much better player than he is as a fullback or a right-sided fullback. So I would go with Coufal out on the far right, and then in the middle I would go with Zuma, Aguerd and Mavropanos in whatever order you think would be most suitable. Mavropanos probably as the centre back because he's the biggest lad.
Yeah.
And probably Zuma on his right and Aguerd on the left. Out on the far left, obviously, Emerson Palmieri. I think, as I've said before, one of the best left-footed players we've had in 10 years or more. I think he's exceptionally good with his left foot. It's a wand of a foot. And I love Creswell, by the way. I've never got a bad word to say about Creswell. But for me, Emerson just tips that balance. And then I would go with 3 in the centre. So that would be Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse and Paquetá. And then up front, I would have 2 in Jared Bowen and Mo Kudus.
Ooh, like it. Right. Well, I'll give my 11 just to give the guys in the live chat a bit more time to type out their personnel. I would go with a 4-3-3. And out of the 3 central mids, I would have one playing as a dedicated defensive mid with the other 2 sort of like 10, 15 yards further along with a bit more license to do their thing in an attacking sense.
Yeah.
So I would go Alphonse Areola between the sticks.
Yeah.
I would go with a back 4 that probably won't shock a lot of people. I would go Emerson left, Coufal right, and Mavropanos as the right centre-back, and Naya Faguer as the left centre-back. I know that Kurt Zouma is not technically, he is the captain, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Kurt Zouma's leadership. I don't think he's the type of leader that we really need. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and I hope he proves me wrong. But I wouldn't have him as the captain anyway, and it may well be that he's not actually fit for tomorrow. But I'll get into a little bit of team news in a little bit. But that would be my back 4. The defensive midfield, it probably won't come as any surprise to anyone. It's Edson Alvarez. He obviously was missing from the game against Brentford. He is back for tomorrow's fixture. He goes straight in and he's playing as the defensive mid. Then ahead of him, I would have James Ward-Prowse, who I would give the armband to. And I would stick him alongside Lucas Paquetá. I would then play a front 2 of Jared Bowen and Divine Mubama, and I would play Mohamed Kudus just behind them in a free role with license to go left, go right, come deep, spin behind, just cause maximum shit, cause problems for their opposition.
Basically, you would want him to play the Maradona role.
Yeah, I'd want him to be our Matthew Letitia. I'd want him to be leaving the midfielders and the centre-backs and the full-backs pondering, well, who's picking this guy up? Because he's occupying the space between the lines. We're not too sure. Are you taking him?
And we know he can do that as well. We've seen him do it.
And the speed he's got and the close ball control, he would scare the shit out of their sort of like defence and midfield. It's but that's this is what I would pick. Now I know it's very probable that this is not what David Moyes will pick, and we'll get into that in a minute. But just want to return to the live chat, if I may. So we've got Chris in, who's gone with a 3-5-2, and he's gone Areola, Coufal, Mavropanos, Zuma, Emerson, Alvarez, JWP, Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen, Ings, and Mubama. Decent enough. Miss Hammerett saying that sounds boss. Sharky's gone with and it just sort of, he does say this is a 4-3-3, by the way. And he says that he's gone with Fabianski, Emerson, Zuma, Aguirre, Kufal, Alvarez, Paquetá, Ward-Prowse, Cornet. Bit of a surprise there. Bowen and Kudus. Just having a little look to see if there's anybody that's given another team. I think there's just a little bit of chit-chat going on in the live chat, so I don't think anybody else has actually put forward their 11. Okay, right. So that being the case, I'm now going to switch. So I've given my 11. We've had a couple of guys in the live chat give their 11s. You've given your 11, Budge. I'm now going to reveal what I believe David Moyes is going to go with, which ain't what I would go with. Surprise, surprise. So here it is. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's ho hum. It's a little bit. It's but that is what I think David Moyes is going to revert to. I'll tell you for why. Because neither Thomas Souček nor Michail Antonio were starting the game on Thursday night. Souček had 10 minutes, but that was it. Antonio didn't get a kick. I just think he's going to revert to what he knows. I think, and I don't think Kudus had a great game the other night. I don't think he was horrendously bad. I think he started well and then he just faded. And I think that's going to be his get out. I think that's going to be his reason/excuse as to why Kudus gets dropped or rested, as I think David Moyes would probably prefer to frame it. But I think that it will be Souček coming in. I think it will be Antonio coming in. I think it will be same old, rinse and repeat. David Moyes 11, ladies and gentlemen. I wish it weren't so. I hope I'm wrong. I keep my fingers crossed that an hour before kickoff, when the team sheets are announced, that I look and go, oh, he's made me look like a bit of a cock there. But I've got a funny feeling that he won't. Put it this way, I think that at least one of Antonio or Souček is coming back into the starting lineup. Yeah. I think it's fairly likely that both of them will.
If you had to pick one of them to come back, which one would it be?
Oh, Jesus.
If he was going to say, look, I've got Souček and Antonio both available, but I'm only going to use one.
Can you play
what one will he pick?
One for the other half, Mr. Moyes, please. Damage limitation. Right. If I had to pick one, I think I'd probably go Antonio, but it's very, very marginal. Very marginal. I think that possibly his physicality up top could be the difference.
Yeah.
Whereas
I think we're going to need that tomorrow on Sunday, actually.
Yeah, I think that
we are.
Possibly. Yeah, I think that possibly having.
So you would lift out Souček, yeah? Take Souček out of that.
Like I say, I wouldn't play him.
No.
If it was me,
I would play Paquetá there and Cornet out on the left and see how that.
Yeah, I'd be happier with that if I'm being honest. But Yeah, I'd say it's a difficult one. It's like sort of the reverse of asking someone who's your favourite child. It's the opposite of that. You
Oh,
know,
I've got an easy
which one of
answer
the
to
two
that.
bad options do you want, Rob? I don't really want any of them for fuck's sake. Oh no, but you've got to
Yeah,
have one. No, I don't want one. No, Rob, you've got to have one. Oh fuck it, I'll have him then.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What can I say? But
I've got an easy answer when someone says to me, "What's your favourite child?" I always say, "The one that ain't been born yet."
there you go.
And
There
they
you go.
always
That's a
say to
good
me,
get out.
"But you're 61 years old and been neutered." They all say I've been neutered because I deal with dogs, don't I? So, and I'm like, exactly. I ain't got a
Nice.
favourite child till the next one's born.
No, no. Right, let's get into the next part, which is the final question. And again, you guys in the live chat, I really want you to get involved with this one. And it's the real sort of this is the important one. What is your score prediction, Budgie?
Well, last night I was on West Ham Network in the chat, not on screen. And a similar question, same question came up. And I actually went for 3-1 last night to us. Having slept since then and had this discussion with you and thinking about the potential of the players that we have got on display or that we've got available for tomorrow, I'm going to go with 4-1. I think we're going to get that extra goal. I think we're going to do them 4-1 again, but I think we'll go 1-0 down.
Okay, that's interesting. So you think we're going to go 1-0 down? What, fairly early?
I reckon probably in the first 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to come back and win it comprehensively. That's
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think we'll probably be 2-1 up before half time and then finish it off in the second half. I'd love to see that. That's my prediction. The reality is it's going to be a tight game.
Are you going to put a cheeky fiver on it?
I'll put a fiver on it. Yeah, why
I
not?
think you should.
I
think you should. Definitely,
I
definitely.
think I should.
Little bit of news as well. Team news. I better get into that. As far as we're concerned, Budge and guys in the live chat, it looks like we're going to have a full strength squad, more or less. Not quite sure. Kurt Zouma obviously missed the Olympiacos fixture due to an injury he got again in the win over Arsenal the previous week. He's just done a little bit of light training since. So is he going to come straight back into the starting 11? Don't know. Maybe they'll give him another week. We'll wait and see. So I do believe Mavropanos is very likely to start for that reason. As far as Nottingham Forest is concerned, Harry Toffolo, he's a bit of a doubt. He was brought off in the second half of the game against Villa last week, and they're obviously Forest, last I heard, were waiting for some fitness updates. As far as players who are doubtful, you've got Chris Wood with a thigh injury, you've got Felipe with a knee injury, and Divock Origi, a player we've been linked with intermittently down the years, with a hip injury. So they're all doubts. Whereas Callum Hudson-Odoi is pretty much certain to miss out with a thigh injury. So, also Gonzalo Montiel has got a calf injury as well. So they've got a few players out, which, given that sort of like we've not really got a lot of players out, they've got some players out. We're the home team. I'm probably going to go with my score prediction. I'm going to go 3-1. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet because we just can't seem to keep a clean sheet. I know we kept a clean sheet against Olympiacos, but let's be honest, it's very easy to keep a clean sheet against a team that doesn't have a shot on target in 90 minutes. It's quite easy.
Well, they hit the post, didn't they?
Yeah, but that wasn't a shot on target. So, I know I'm splitting hairs, but as far as the stats are concerned, that wasn't a shot on target. So when you're playing a team that can't manage a shot on target in 90 minutes, it's easy to keep a clean sheet. I don't see that we're going to get an easy ride against Nottingham Forest. I really don't. So I think that in all likelihood, they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, whether they do it early, whether they do it late, what the scoring sequence is, I really couldn't care less. For me, tomorrow it is by hook or by crook, and I will even say this: I would actually tolerate a scruffy 2-1 win, 1-0 win, 3-2 win, whatever it is, so long as we're one goal to the advantage when the final whistle is blown.
Yeah.
Then, as far as I'm concerned, I will stomach whatever I've got to watch tomorrow, because they're 1 point behind us, and I'll just share this with the class so that people can obviously see that maybe are not aware. But they are 1 point behind us in the Premier League table as of right now. We need the win, Budge. A draw for me is not good enough. Even I know that they would still remain 1 point back from us, but you look at the other teams are sort of like in fairly close proximity. Wolves, Fulham, Everton, they're all within striking distance. So if we pick up a point and they manage to pick up 3, they close the ground again, and we're slipping down the table. So we need a win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need a win, and it's, you know, we've only got to get Brentford, Chelsea and Palace all to lose. And we'll go up to 9th.
Yeah.
Again.
But the form we're in at the minute, well, we'll wait and see.
We'll probably be 11th, you know.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. But for now,
Sunday,
I'm going to knock it on the head there. I think we've probably covered enough grounds in 42 minutes. For those of you that have watched this live, or the guys that are watching this later, please don't forget to do the usual bits and pieces. But more importantly, Budge, give your channel a shout again.
Thank you very much. Yes, Green Street Elites. And if there's anybody actually watching this live, or even on the replay or whatever, if you want to come on to Green Street Elites and tell your story about why you're a West Ham fan, all you got to do is leave a comment on one of my videos. I will pick it up, I will contact you, and we'll get it underway. So, Green Street Elites, have a look.
I think you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, that is an offer you absolutely cannot refuse. Just saying. Guys, as always, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us as well, Budge. And really has helped me out a treat. And guys, those of you watching live or later, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. Don't forget to click all. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this particular endeavour. And please don't also forget Iron Supporting Food Banks Charity. Congratulations to John Ratomski on his award last night. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons. Stay safe. The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.